I'm talking to Elinor Murchison Gillis, who was the daughter of Angus Murchison, and she is the last remaining sibling of that family, and in that way, the last really direct contact with the Point Prim Lighthouse, because Angus was the last lighthouse keeper of the Point Prim Lighthouse. I think that's right, isn't it, Elinor?
Not quite the last, but it's one of the later ones.
Well, he was, okay, there was another keeper after that, yeah. And he was there for 35 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So you actually grew up like in the shadow of the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It was part of your life every day.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So you have, ask some questions, but you have written out a little story here about it. So why don't you read us that first, and
Just part of it.
you just read part of it, and then I'll take over.
Okay. Yeah. My father, Angus A. Murchison, was the lighthouse keeper at Point Prim Light for 35 years, the longest keeper on record. He was given the job after he came home from the World War I. Before that, he worked on the ship Earl Grey. It was, the lighthouse keeping was a fair paying job and much sought after by other veterans. My parents had 8 children. When I was quite young, it was my lot to go to the lighthouse with him for company. In the summer, we would walk down, which was nice. Sometimes my father would go ahead of me, for he had to have the light on, lit before sunset. He had to have it lit before sunset. I often took a short cut through the woods on the same side as the lighthouse. That's down here. Nice way to go. Going over the big rocks, singing, "Oh, the big rock Andy Mountains." And then we go into the keeper's cottage. When it was getting dark, we would have a cold lunch of white homemade bread, spread with butter and molasses, and a bottle of cold milk, which tasted good. Then, while my father was lying on an old-fashioned couch, a fainting couch, I guess it was called, he would want me to manicure his nails. Then he read for a while before going to bed in a handmade spool bed. It was as old as the lighthouse, 1845. I still have that bed and at my home. After a good night's sleep, my dad would call me to get up. "It's time to get up, Nellie," he would say. He would then go up the top of the light and put out the light before the sun would rise in the sky. We would walk 2 or 3 miles to our house. My mother would be sitting in the rocking chair, knitting, if it was winter time. She would have the porridge and eggs and so forth cooked for us. After that, I would get ready for school, which was 1 mile away, 1.5 mile walk. Never got a drive. It was a 1-room schoolhouse. a dozen pupils and one teacher. I was wondering if by doing so much walking and doing firm work that I have arthritis today. But I am glad I can paint and still paint pictures of the Point Prim Lighthouse, the oldest one on the island. And then I have a PS here. I remember the winter Dad bought me a green snowsuit. I was proud of that snowsuit. In the cold, windy weather, I would walk behind him close as I could to get shelter. The boat, the Brent, called the Brent, would come once a year with supplies for the lighthouse, kerosene, oil, cleaning supplies, and so forth. The Brent would anchor off and send a small boat in with the supplies to the old oil house. And that is all.
You did good. You didn't need me at all. That's great.
I forgot.
No, that's good.
I forgot you. I want to do that.